I'm 73 years old. I live alone, and I love it. You couldn't pay me to live with anyone again. Zero drama, zero stress. My husband and I, we grew apart. He moved out about 8 years ago. At first I thought I'd hate it. Turns out it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Now I wake up at 7, make my coffee, sit by the window in silence. At the end of the day, I close my door, take a deep breath, and feel peace. Real peace. But it took me years to figure this out. I made every mistake you can make living alone. 4 things you must never do. 4 things you must always do. 8 simple rules that saved my life. Let's start with what not to do. First thing you must never do, never let your space go wild. About 4 months after Harold left, my daughter came over. She walked in, looked around, and stopped. Dishes in the sink, 3 days' worth. Mail piled up, unopened, clothes everywhere. "Mom," she said quietly, "this isn't okay." She was right. When you live with someone, they keep you accountable, not in a nagging way. Just, they're there. You do the dishes because you don't want them to pile up. But when you live alone, all of that disappears. So you tell yourself, tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week. My daughter didn't lecture me. She just said, let's clean, 20 minutes, right now. We set a timer, 20 minutes, and we cleaned. When that timer went off, the apartment wasn't perfect, but it was manageable. And something in my chest loosened. I could breathe again. That's when I understood. This wasn't about being neat for guests. This was about waking up every morning and not seeing chaos. Because when your space falls apart, you fall apart with it. Now I clean every day, 20 minutes. But I never let it pile up again. Because when you live alone, your space is the only thing you fully control. The world outside, chaos. You can't control that. But your home, that's yours. And if you let it turn into a mess, you've lost the one thing that can give you peace. So here's the rule. Never let your space go wild. 20 minutes a day, wash the dishes, make the bed, take out the trash. Simple things, but they matter. Second thing, never stop going out. This one sneaks up on you. At first, staying home feels like freedom. Nobody to answer to. No schedule. Stopped going to the grocery store. They deliver now, right? Stopped going to church. Too much effort. Stopped meeting Barbara for coffee. Next week, I'd tell myself. Next week became never. One day, I realized I hadn't left my apartment in 6 days. 6 days. And the scary part? I hadn't even noticed. When you live alone, there's no one to say, let's go for a walk. So you just don't, and your world shrinks. I went to the pharmacy one day after weeks of staying in. The pharmacist said, "How are you today?" And I just stared at her. That scared me. You know what got me out? I forced myself to walk to the coffee shop 3 blocks away, sat there with my coffee, watching people, and something in me woke up. I remembered what it felt like to be part of the world. Now I have a rule. 3 times a week, minimum, I leave the house. Monday, coffee shop. Wednesday, park. Friday, grocery store. 3 times, no matter what. And here's what it does. Keeps me connected. Reminds me I'm still here, still alive. Keeps my brain working. So get out. 3 times a week, coffee shop, park, store, just out. Because your apartment is not the whole world. Third thing, never skip your daily routine. When Harold was here, we had a routine. 7 a.m., alarm. He'd make coffee while I showered. 8 o'clock, breakfast. It was structure. And I thought I hated it. I thought, freedom, right? Wrong. I slept until noon one day, felt great, did it again. Within 2 weeks, I had no idea what time it was. My body didn't know if it was coming or going, and my mind just floated, lost. Depression crept in. My doctor asked me, "Dorothy, when do you wake up?" "Whenever," I said. "That's your problem." She explained, "Your body needs rhythm. Your brain needs structure. When you're living alone, nobody else creates that structure. You have to do it yourself. So I started waking up at 7, every day, even weekends. When I wake up at 7, I have a morning, time to make coffee, time to sit, time to ease into the day. Now, my routine is simple. 7 a.m., wake up, make coffee, sit by the window 20 minutes. 8 o'clock, breakfast. Something real, not just toast, that's it. Nothing fancy. But it holds my day together. Because when you live alone, routine isn't a prison. It's a lifeline. Same time every day. Pick whatever works for you and stick to it. Because your routine is what keeps you from drifting. Fourth thing, never cut off all contact. This is the deadliest one. After Harold left, people called. At first I answered, but the conversations were hard. How are you doing? What do you say? I'm drowning. So I started letting calls go to voicemail, then I stopped charging my phone. The calls stopped, and I told myself I was fine with that. But here's the truth. Alone and isolated are two different things. Alone means you live by yourself. Isolated means nobody knows if you're alive. I was isolated. One day I slipped in the shower. Nothing serious, just bruised my hip. But lying there, I thought, if this had been worse, if I'd hit my head, how long would I have lain here? That's when I understood. Cutting off contact isn't independence, it's danger. My daughter started calling every Sunday at 10 a.m. You don't have to do that, I said. I know, she said, but I'm going to. 20 minutes. We don't talk about anything important. She tells me about the kids. I tell her about the birds at my feeder, but it's a connection, a thread. I also have Barbara, coffee every other Friday, and it's enough because I'm not isolated anymore. So never cut off all contact. One phone call a week, one person, 20 minutes, not for them, for you. Because when you live alone, connection isn't a luxury, it's oxygen, okay? Those are the 4 things you must never do. I made all 4 mistakes, nearly didn't make it out. But I did. You know how? By doing 4 other things. Let me tell you what they are. First thing you must do, clean your space every day. I already told you about letting things pile up. Now let me tell you exactly how I fixed it. 20 minutes, every single day. Every day after breakfast, I set the timer on my phone. 20 minutes, first 10 minutes, dishes, every single one. I don't leave anything in the sink, plates, cups, pans, whatever's there. Sink empty when the timer goes off. Next, 5 minutes, surfaces, kitchen counter, coffee table, bathroom sink, wipe them down. Mail gets sorted. Most of it goes straight to trash. Last 5 minutes, pick up. Clothes in the hamper, books back on the shelf. Anything out of place, back where it belongs. That's it. 20 minutes. About 10 days in, I woke up and walked into my kitchen. The counter was clear. The sink was empty. Everything in its place. And I felt calm. For the first time in months, that's when I understood. This isn't about having a clean apartment for guests. I barely have guests. It's about creating a space where your mind can rest. When you wake up and see chaos, dishes piled up, garbage overflowing, clutter everywhere, that chaos gets into your head. You start the day feeling behind, feeling overwhelmed. But when everything is in its place, you start the day feeling like you've got your life together. Now here's what I learned. Motivation doesn't come first. Action comes first. You don't wait until you feel like cleaning. You clean and then you feel better. Every time. Also, cleaning every day means it never gets bad. 3 days of dishes? That's overwhelming. That's an hour. But 1 day of dishes? 10 minutes. When you clean every day, nothing ever gets to the point where it's too much. It's manageable. So here's my advice. Get a timer. 20 minutes. Every day. Don't skip days. Don't make excuses. Because those are the days when you need it most. 20 minutes of cleaning equals 24 hours of peace. That's worth it. Second thing you must do, get out at least 3 times a week. Let me tell you exactly what this looks like. Monday morning, 7:30. I walk 3 blocks to the coffee shop. Medium latte, sometimes a scone. I sit at the table by the window. For 30 minutes, I just sit there and watch the world. People coming in and out, the barista making drinks, cars going by, and I feel human again, part of the world. Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. I walk to the park. There's a bench by the pond. I sit there for 20-30 minutes, watch the ducks, listen to the trees. Sometimes other people are there. Sometimes I'm alone. Either way is fine. Friday morning, 9 o'clock, grocery store. I don't always need groceries. Sometimes I could order online, but I go anyway, because it's not about the groceries. It's about being around people. I walk the aisles slowly, take my time. The checkout person says, "How are you today?" "Good," I say. "How are you?" But it matters. Because when you live alone, you can go days without speaking to another person, and you don't even notice. You think you're fine, but slowly you start to disappear. You forget how to be around people. Your voice actually changes, gets quieter. I noticed this about 6 months in. I went to the pharmacy, tried to answer a question. My voice came out hoarse, scratchy, because I hadn't used it in days. That scared me. So now I go out 3 times a week, minimum. And here's what it does. It keeps my brain working, ordering coffee, finding a seat, navigating around people. These aren't hard tasks, but they're stimulating. They keep your brain active. When you stay home all the time, your brain gets lazy, slow. Also, going out gives structure to your week. Monday is coffee shop day. Wednesday is park. Friday is groceries. Those anchors hold the week together. Without them, Monday blends into Friday. And here's the best part. Sometimes unexpected things happen. Like last month at the coffee shop, a woman about my age sits down next to me. "Love that scarf," she says. We talked for 40 minutes. Her name is Susan. We've met for coffee 3 times since. That doesn't happen if you stay home. So get out. 3 times a week. Coffee shop, park, store, library. Doesn't matter. Just out. Because your apartment is not the whole world. Third thing you must do, have something to look forward to. This one saved my life. When Harold left, every day felt the same. Wake up, coffee, sit around, TV, bed, wake up, coffee, sit around, TV, bed. There was no point, no reason to get up in the morning. My daughter called one day. "Mom," she said, "Friday night dinner, that Italian place, 7 o'clock, I'll pick you up." "I'm not asking," she said. "I'll be there at 7. So Friday came. We went to dinner, and for 2 hours, I felt normal. When I got home, I realized something. All week, I'd been thinking about Friday, wondering what I'd order. Friday had been different, special. It had given shape to my week. And that's when I understood. I needed things to look forward to, so I started small. Friday, I'm going to that Chinese restaurant, Kung Pao Chicken. All week, I thought about it. Friday came, I went, I got the Kung Pao Chicken, and it was good. But the anticipation was better. Having something on the calendar, having a reason to get through Tuesday and Wednesday, that was the real gift. Now I always have something coming up. This week, coffee with Barbara on Friday. Next week, there's a book I want. Going to the bookstore Tuesday. Week after that, my daughter's visiting. Botanical garden, always something. And here's what this does. It gives each week shape. Without something to look forward to, days blur together. Monday is the same as Thursday is the same as Saturday. But when you have something coming, each day has meaning. Monday is 4 days before Kung Pao Chicken. Wednesday is 2 days before. The days connect, so make plans. Small ones. Every week doesn't have to cost money, doesn't have to involve people. Maybe you want to try that new bakery. Put it on the calendar. Thursday morning. Maybe there's a movie you want to see. Tuesday matinee. Doesn't matter what it is, just put it on the calendar. I keep a little notebook. Every Sunday, I write down at least one thing for the coming week. Sometimes it's coffee with Barbara. Sometimes it's Wednesday, try new walking route. Sometimes it's Friday, get coconut ice cream. Small things, but they matter. Because when Wednesday comes, I wake up thinking, today's the new route day, and that makes Wednesday different. You have to create your own reasons to look forward, because without that, time just passes. You're not living, you're existing. So get a calendar or a notebook. Every week, put at least one thing on it, one thing to look forward to, and days will start to matter again. Last thing you must do, call or meet someone once a week. Let me tell you how this works. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. My phone rings. My daughter, every Sunday, same time. At first, I resisted. You don't have to call every week, I said. I know, she said, but I'm going to. Now I look forward to it. Sunday morning at 9:50, I pour my coffee and sit in my chair. 10 o'clock, the phone rings. Hi, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. We talk for 20 minutes, sometimes 30. She tells me about her kids, my grandkids. Emma got an A on her science project. Jake is playing soccer. I tell her about my week. Had coffee with Barbara. Saw 3 cardinals at my feeder. Small things. But those 20 minutes remind me I'm not alone in the world. There's someone who cares if I'm okay, who wants to know how my week was, who would notice if something was wrong. And that's everything. I also have Barbara. Every other Friday, 10:30, coffee shop. Barbara is 76, lives alone. Husband died 9 years ago. We met at the coffee shop, started talking about gardening. Now we meet every other Friday. Sometimes we talk a lot. Sometimes we just sit there, reading the paper, saying almost nothing. Either way is fine. Not profound, not life-changing, just 2 old women talking. But here's what it does. It means I'm not completely alone. There's someone who expects to see me every other Friday. If I didn't show up, she'd notice, she'd call. And that's important, because if something happens to you, who knows? If you fall, if you get sick, who notices? My daughter calls every Sunday. If I didn't answer, she'd call again, then drive over. Barbara expects me every other Friday. If I didn't show up, she'd reach out. That's not just nice, that's essential. I've heard stories, people who live alone, no regular contact. They fall, they have a stroke, and nobody knows for days. That's preventable. All you need is one person, one regular contact. So pick one person, call them. Hey, it's me. I know it's been a while. I was thinking about you. How are you? That's all. And at the end, can I call you next week? Most people will say yes, or meet someone, coffee shop, park bench, once a week, same time, same place. Make it routine, because here's what happens. You're not isolated anymore. You have someone who knows you're alive. And more than that, you have connection, real human connection, voice to voice, face to face. Those Sunday calls with my daughter, those Friday coffees with Barbara, they're the lifeline. They're what keeps me human. So one person, one call or one meeting, once a week, 20 minutes, not for them, for you. Because when you live alone, connection isn't a luxury, it's survival. So there it is, 4 things you must never do. Never let your space go wild. Never stop going out. Never skip your daily routine. Never cut off all contact. 4 things you must do. Clean your space every day. 20 minutes. Get out 3 times a week. Have something to look forward to. Call or meet someone once a week. 8 rules. That's all. I'm 73. Been living alone for 8 years. And I'm not just surviving. I'm living. It's a good life. Not the life I planned, but it's mine. And when I close my door at the end of the day and take that deep breath, I feel peace. Start today. Clean your space. Go outside. Make plans. Call someone. Because living alone doesn't have to be sad. It can be good. Really good. Because living alone doesn't have to be sad. It can be good. Really good. If this meant something to you, tap like, subscribe for more, and share this with someone you care about. It might help them more than you think.